The GMP program is a very different program that we started with in the year 2009 when we had a European Commission funding to start some collaboration with Germany at that point in time. It was like Germany was looking for a collaboration with India in the context of higher education, especially management education. So we got a funding through an European university, and we thought, yeah, we can go ahead with it, because we were thinking that at this point in time we are doing very well in India. We are one of the best business schools in India, but we don't have sufficient alumni base in the European world. We have quite a bit of alumni in UK, US and so on, but in Europe we are not so strong. So we thought this is a good starting point, and then this program can help us to get a lot of alumni in Europe. So the whole purpose of starting this program is, it was a new thing that was not done in India at all, and at the same time we thought that this will help us to have a good alumni base in Europe. That is how we started. When we started, we thought that this is we have a funding, so initially we should not face any problems. But once we started, we found that it is not so easy. Things were really very difficult, and we started crossing the river as and when it came. And the first hurdle that we faced is that we thought that we will be able to place our students over there. We failed miserably in the first year. The reason being, we started right from the first batch, we started teaching German language. The first partner was from Germany. We started teaching German language, but that was not enough. That was not enough at all. So the students, they completed the course from here, they completed the course from there, they got an MBA degree, but they were not employable. And none of them got jobs over there. There were visa issues, there were issues with language, there were issues with companies offering jobs and so on. So more or less half of the batch came back to India, half of the batch was still trying over there, half of the batch came back and they said that, so help us with jobs. Then we thought that, oh, we have not done the right thing, how do we really work out on this? Then we started to work out with our partners, with the companies in Germany and so on, and then we found that the most important thing is they need to get a visa that will allow them to work for interns at least for a year or so, which can get converted to jobs. Now one thing we have to understand is the European job market is very different than the Indian job market. In India, just like in the US, we have hire and fire policy. So in SPJMR, we have for all the programs like PGDM and PGPM, we have placement, and it's like career fair. So companies come here and they shortlist out of say 240, they'll shortlist 60 candidates, and they interview out of 60, they will select 2 or 3 or 4 or maybe 5 or 10 or whatever it is. Now when these students came back over here, it was a small bunch of students. So we could not get the companies to come and recruit these students because the numbers were very less. So they were not willing to come for such a small number of students. That was problem number one. Problem number two, in India, the way the placements are done is they take no time to hire and they take no time to fire. Okay. In Europe, situation is very different. It's like you have to first go for a live together relationship before getting married. So because it is very, very difficult to fire somebody in Europe in job. So there has to be really something going wrong with some legal aspect or some something really wrong, otherwise it's very difficult to fire somebody. So what companies in Europe prefer is first they want to check whether the person is correct fit to the organization or not. So they first want to take as interns, no matter how much experience you have. They first want to test you as an intern for maybe anywhere between 2 months to 6 months, and if they feel that yes, the person is productive, the person is efficient, the person is able to understand our cultures, the person is able to understand our values, our ethical concerns and so on, and in other words, if they feel that the person is suitable for our environment, then they recruit. It's a long drawn process. In India, it doesn't happen that way. So it was a learning curve for us. The first year was really a learning curve. From the second year, things were really very different from two aspects. One, From the mistakes of the first year, we learnt and we moved on, and we spoke to the visa office, the consulate, the ambassadors and so on, and said that can we have a different sort of a visa where we can accommodate our students to stay for a longer period of time and work as interns at least for a year or so. And then they can, join us full term, as employees. That worked really well. Also, the angle from language, we knew that language is very important, but this was like hands-on experience on how important language could be. There were situations where from the first batch, students who were extraordinarily well, they had international work experience and so on, but still they were not taken by the companies because they lacked language. Not about technical capabilities or efficiency or productivity, is language. You have to speak their language. So learning from that, we really started communicating to the second batch that look, language is of paramount importance. If you are not focusing on language, no matter how good you are, don't expect to go build a career in Europe. And also we made it very clear that the purpose of the program is not to get a degree from SPGMR, get a degree from Germany and come back to India to search for a job. And you ask SPGMR to get a job for you. If SPGMR is going to get a job for you in India, then we have the PGDM program and the PGPA program. Then this is not the right program for you. In this program, what we communicated to the students is, we are going to make you employable in Europe. Okay, we can't get you jobs, but the whole process will be how to make you employable in Europe. So we provide not only language training, we help you with courses like business etiquette, applicable in Germany and so on. We have courses like international HRM, we have courses like international law, we have international business law, we have courses like European business environment, we have courses like international marketing and so on. So all these courses are targeted to make you employable in the European environment. So the whole purpose is, we try our best how you can make a mark in the European market, and then of course you complete the rest of the courses from the European Partner School from where you graduate. And once you graduate, then you join an internship. And then of course another very important point which I missed out is, from the second year we spoke with our partner schools and said that look, you need to help the students with the internships to start with. Okay, and they agreed to that. So our partner schools really worked well, and they said yes, we'll do it. So the partner schools were helping the students for internships, and eventually when they complete 6 months or more than that to complete the MBA, and then another 6 months to maybe slightly more for an internships, staying there for over a year, you learn the language over a period of time. If you have the knack. There are people who still don't, but generally if you have the knack, you learn the language, and then you're all there. I mean, it's only to be won, nothing to be lost. But yes, it's a struggle. It is not a shortcut. There is in fact no shortcut. It's difficult. The growth rate of the European economy is in 1%, 2%, maximum 3%. So it's a difficult market to crack. But at the same time, we have noticed Indians who speak the language never faced any problem in any job market in the European context. No matter with the previous government of France or the current government in France or Germany changing leaderships, Brexit, no matter what, people who are speaking the language never faced any problem. Yeah. So one very important point is, once we completed the first year, from the second year we added a new partner in France. So once we added our new partner in France, ISEC, we were very hopeful because we thought that we have learnt it all. Later, when we started working with our partner, we found that the French market is even more difficult than the German market. So then the German market appeared to be a bit simpler than the French market. So we then found that yes, it is difficult to crack the French market, especially from the point of view of jobs, but the French work in different ways which are not exactly the same as Germans. For example, one thing which is of paramount importance in France, even more than Germany, is language. So the French, and rightly so, French feel that, French is the only medium of communication. Others are, not so important. So they are really not insistent that you should speak native fluent French. But if you can make an effort to speak in French, and if you understand what they are saying, they are okay with it. They are okay to compromise on that. This is one important point. Second thing that we observed is, in the French market, the way of the work culture, the way of networking and all that is very, very important. So we try to work on few things which are again very much specific to the French market, because we had half of the students going to Germany and half of the students going to France. So we have to give equal importance to the French market. So it is not like Europe as a single continent and everything holds true everywhere. It's every country is very different, and you need to target each country differently with their own specific requirements. In the French context, one thing that came out to be very significant is networking. So students generally from India, especially the younger ones, they don't have any concept of how to network with people. They feel that if I need somebody, I have to approach and that person will help. It doesn't work that way. So networking is, you go to meetings, go to parties, meet people, and you reach out to people to help them, without having any vested interest. And then when you require, they are there with you. So that is the fundamental concept of networking. We try to have some courses integrated with this batch, where we had courses in some workshops in networking. Etiquette is also very important in French. The French etiquette is again different than the German etiquette. Many things that you say or the way you behave in France is different than in Germany. So we had to tailor make each and every requirement to suit them with the French environment. And at the same time, we had, as I earlier said, we had set of bunch of courses which were targeted to each of these markets. Eventually, after 2 years, we started with two more partners, one in Germany again and one in Netherlands. This worked out very well because we already had some knowledge in Germany, so adding up the second partner in Germany was easy for us. Netherlands worked out extremely well because Netherlands is a very small country and it is very adaptive by nature. So though Dutch is the language and they expect people to speak Dutch, but I hardly came across any Dutch who doesn't speak English. So mostly Dutch speak in English, but if two Dutch people are speaking among themselves, they speak in Dutch, not in English. Also, if you are working for clients, suppose if you want a job as a consultant or a marketing strategy person, you need to communicate in their language to win their hearts. So you cannot be arrogant and say that I speak in English. So it's important to speak language. As an operational hurdle, we have very few Dutch language teachers in the country, in India. You can just count a few in India. So we had severe problems, but still we have solved the problem. We have excellent Dutch professors teaching at our institute here. Most of our students, they complete A1 and A2 levels of language training. You will be surprised to know that every day we start at 8 o'clock in the morning. First 2 hours is language class. And then we start with our other courses, all management courses, they start from 10:30. So they have a break from 10 to 10:30 and we start from 10:30 with our other courses. So first 2 hours is language and then we start. For two reasons. One, the fresh mind captures language easier early morning. Second, when you start at 8 o'clock, the message goes loud and clear to the student that look, this is paramount important, this is very important. Language is first, then comes everything else. And truly so in those countries, you have to speak the language, your capabilities, your productivity and efficiency comes next. Another thing that we discovered is they don't care whether you are A1 level or A2 level or B2 level or C2 level, they don't care. They will talk to you. So if you are able to communicate, that's all. Even if you don't have A1 or nothing, it doesn't matter to them. They will talk to you. If you are able to answer, if you are able to convince, if they are happy with the way you talk, they are done. So the degrees actually don't matter. and so does the degrees of MBA, you know. So very unlike the Indian environment, when they take interviews, yes, if you have an MBA, it certainly matters, but what matters more is your experience. What you put across the table, what are you capable of? Okay, so you have to convince the interviewer that, look, this is what I have done in my life, this is what MBA gave to me, and this is what I can do, this is what I am looking for. And if there is no synergy in the process, then they are a bit skeptical. So if you have done, say, IT coding for 3 years, and now you want to become a marketing executive, they will raise their eyebrows, you know. Sorry, I'm not able to get the connection. Yes, you did an MBA in between, but that doesn't mean that 3 years of IT goes total waste. So that doesn't happen. In India, it can happen, but in Europe, it is very difficult to happen. Another thing which is very important in the European market is, we often feel that, especially our students often feel that, if I have worked in India, say with L&T as a project manager for say 5 years, and then I have joined the program, so they feel that with this program I will be able to go to a higher level in a infrastructure company in Europe. That again doesn't happen. So what happens is, as I said, they are skeptical. They want to test you first. Things doesn't happen overnight over there. So they will, yes, they'll give you a job which may be one step even lower than what you did in India, even after your MBA. So many a times our students get frustrated. What is this? I completed an MBA and now I'm getting a job even lower to what I was doing here before even getting into the job, you know. So when they get the offer letter, they say, this is frustrating, you know. So we always tell our students at that point in time that, take up the job. Once you have a job, then you can start looking for alternatives, and then you change. But within 2 months after they join the job, they start understanding what is the difference in working in India as a project manager and in Europe as a project manager. We have to appreciate that the work culture, the working processes and systems in a developed country is very different than an emerging market. Things don't work the same way. The responsibilities, the roles, everything is very different over there. So the recruiters know that. Especially if they are MNCs, they know that. So that is why they first test how good are you at their environment. If you prove yourself good, then you get the promotion in immediate, and they recognize that you have done it, you are good at it, so then you get the promotion. Otherwise, if it doesn't work that way, then maybe you need to switch the job and go to some other job. But our experience is, many of our students who just joined a job at a lower level than what they were working in India, moved up the value chain pretty fast, you know, faster than the European. That is our experience. So overall, I think we try to prepare a student in a very holistic manner, not only here in India, but also when they go to our European partners, they also try to, you know, nurture them and prepare them to make sure that employability is very high. So nobody helps you to get a job, because the European market, again, there is no hand holding the way we do it in India, you know. You have to get your job done, you have to do it. So we are here to help you in every aspect that you need, but you have to get your thing done. We will not come and tell you, look, there is a job here, do you wish to apply? Nobody does that, you know. So you have to apply on online portals and get the appointments and go and meet. If you need an introduction, somebody can do that for you. The PGDM model is it's a 2-year model that we have at SPJIMR, and here the students join at SPJIMR and they also graduate from SPJIMR, and in between they have this global fast track where they go for exchange in one of the international schools, mostly in US, sometimes in Europe as well, but that is a short duration. The program structure that we have for GMP is that they do 6 months at SPJIMR. Most of the courses that are covered in the first year of PGDM are covered in GMP in 6 months, plus the language. So it is like a pressure cooker environment. It's extremely demanding from that context. So once they complete the 6 months, they opt for different schools. Okay, so somebody with a background of say mechanical engineer may select a school, maybe say EBS, where they feel that, oh, I already have worked with Maruti for 3 years, so or 4 years, so I may prefer to take MSc Automotive Management. Somebody may say that I have worked with a retail giant, so I take up MS in retail management. Somebody may feel that, oh, I have over 5 years of work experience, I would like to go for an MBA General Management. So students are given the options and they select based on eligibility criteria and so on. So they select whatever suits best to them, and that is how they join the programs. So then they graduate from there, and the duration of each and every program is very different. For example, at ESEC, if they join for MSc or MBA program, it is 6 months over here and 6 months over there, so complete everything over in 1 year. It's a 1 year MBA program, that's all. But in some other partner, for example EBS, it is 6 months and 18 months over there. Or NBU, Nairod Business School, in Nairod it is it's 6 months over here and 15 months over there. Okay, so every school is different, and the duration of courses over there is all different. So they don't graduate at the same time. Now once they graduate, they are, as I discussed, they are made to be employed in that environment, because the training has been that way, including language training. So we facilitate the whole process and they end up with jobs over there. This is a different model than the PGDM model, where PGDM students graduate from SPGMR and we have career fairs or placement services where companies recruit from SPGMR. GMP students are not provided placement from SPGMR directly. Yes, there are exceptions, especially when some students maybe has been working for 2 years in say Berlin, and due to some family compunctions maybe wants to shift to India, so they ask for some help from our office, we do help. But that is more of an exception than the regular stream of our activities. We don't do it in general, but yes, there are exceptions. There are a lot of such exceptions actually, but we don't want to make it a practice. We don't do it as a practice. Our objective is to create alumni in Europe and elsewhere. And many of our alumni today from the GMP program, we are really proud of them. For example, we have alumni working with the World Bank. We have alumni working with Apple. We have alumni working with as head of marketing in Paris. We have a lot of alumni who have become entrepreneurs in Germany. Okay, in Germany over there. So this I don't want to really compare and contrast across programs, but the platform that we provide enables it, and the platform of PGDM is different. So it's nothing like which is good and which is bad. That is not the context here. The purpose of the two programs are very different. So the targeted market is also different. It enables you to build a global career. Good question. We do realize that a lot of issues are there in terms of cultural differences between our partner schools, the countries where we deal with, and India. And many of our students, when they join the program, are blissfully unaware of the cultural differences. Then a stage comes when we take quite a few courses where they come to learn about the cultural differences. And most of the courses that we have, like say intercultural management, we have a course called change management. We have a course like, as I mentioned earlier, international HRM, okay, human resource management. So business etiquette. So many of these courses, when they go through these courses, they feel that, oh my God, how am I going to cope with all this? So then the first stage is being blissfully unaware. So they think, initially they think that it's easy, we'll make it happen without even knowing what it is. Next they come to know what it is. And the good thing is, for most of our partner schools, we have professors and practitioners coming from our partner schools to take these courses. So it is not Indians talking about intercultural management. So a professor comes from say from a partner school to teach intercultural management, who is himself teaching the course across maybe say 14 countries. So the person really has not only the knowledge but also the experience of intercultural management, that is in practice across different continents, different countries, first-hand experience. So when that sort of a person takes this course, they are really exposed to the realities, you know. So we have all these courses, and we have a lot of workshops conducted by our professors, external professors, and also international professors, where we try to groom our students and try our best to make them, you know, adaptable to the international global environment. Good question. You know, there's a lot of research done on this aspect, and there has been a lot of studies done where we try to test whether MBAs make better leaders or non-MBAs make better leaders. There has been a lot of study. In fact, one of the last studies of Sumantar Ghoshal addressed this issue, whether MBAs end up becoming better leaders. There is no black and white answer to this. There is a lot of gray area there, and it's very difficult to say whether MBAs end up becoming leaders. Studies say that MBAs move up the value chain in companies at the initial stages pretty fast, at a fast rate, but after a point in time they get stuck there, or rather, if I may say, the growth rate reduces. There, henceforth, it doesn't matter whether you're an MBA or you're not. So at that level, at the leadership level, it really doesn't matter whether you're an MBA or not. It really matters about your people skills, your empathy, your how compassionate you are. In short, how good you are as a human being. You know, that matters a lot. But yes, coming to your point, at the initial stage, it really matters. I'll give you some straightforward examples. A student, before joining the program, worked with ABC company, automotive company. I'm just giving ABC name. His salary was somewhere around 4 lakhs per annum. Okay. If I just talk in terms of numbers, he invested maybe say total of 16 lakhs or at the max 20 lakhs in 2 years to complete an MBA. Okay. He is drawing 20 lakhs per annum now in a competitive automotive company. So this is what MBA can do. But again, it has to be the top-notch MBA college and top-notch MBA degree. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. So why I mentioned top-notch MBA degree also, because a lot of the top-notch MBA colleges, includes the top 10 or whatever you talk about it, they have their flagship program and also the also run programs. So if you graduate from those also run programs from a top tier school, recruiters are not fools. You know, they are like street smart. So they know that though you have the brand tag along with it, but you are not from the mainstream programs. So if you are from the mainstream program of a top-notch business school, you can really jump, get a huge jump. But after that, you have to prove yourself. You get the breakthrough there. But if you are unable to prove there, then the next step of promotions doesn't happen automatically. Then the competition is very tough. You have to really prove with your capabilities, not with your MBA degree. So that is why once you go up there, whether it is an MNC or an Indian giant, what matters more is who are you as a person. You know, your efficiency, your productivity, and I would say much more than anything else, how good you are as a human being. That is a very subtle thing, but that matters the most. Yeah. So I personally feel that GMP is a very different program, and it is not for the weak-hearted. Why I am saying so? I am saying so because the GMP program doesn't promise a job at the end of the program. It doesn't happen that way. So you have to complete GMP, then 6 months, then you go to a partner school, complete that program 6 months maybe or something like that. Total it could be anywhere between 1 year or 2 years, for which could be similar to the PGDM or the PGPM program, 1 year program. But more than that, once you complete that, you have to join for an internship. And then that internship, if both parties like and it happens well, gets converted to a job. Mostly it gets converted to a job. In few cases, you may need to take another internship that gets converted to a job. And there are again a few cases where we have instances where students directly get a job without any internship. That also happens. So the point here is, it is not easy, because we are talking about a market like Europe. So what we feel is, there is a market out there, no matter whether there is Brexit or not, there is a market out there for Indians, and if you are good in the subject, in the context, in the area of your specialization, and if you can speak the language well, it's a market which you can win over. So you need to be really clear about what are your aspirations in life. If you don't know whether you want to stay back in India or to go there, if you don't know whether you are ready to take up the challenge or not, then perhaps this is not the right program for you. So my suggestion to every candidate who is applying for GMP is that, do the background study well. Your career, your life, everything is destined to change completely. And if you go to our website, or even talk to alumni and try to understand, everybody's life has changed. Life changes because you settle in a place which you never thought of. So life changes. So question number 1 is, are you open for the risk? If you are open for the risk, the returns are also going to be very high. If you are not open for the risk, then perhaps you should not go for such a program. You should target programs which are in India, which doesn't have so much of ambiguity and so on. So that is one very important point. But having said that, I would also say that because we have been running the program for such a long time now, our alumni base is quite strong, and we have alumni right from, you can start with US to Dubai. I mean, most of these continents we have our alumni spread across. So our alumni works very closely with our office and with our current batch students and so on. They help a lot. They help a lot to not only to get the right breakthrough, but also they take Skype calls which are with our students. They are connected as buddies, so they advise and they nurture and they help the students to get the right career path. So it's a different program. It's going to change your life if you are planning to enroll for it. But at the same time, you have to be well informed what you want to what you want, and whether it is aligned with what you want to do in your life. So what we have to offer, you have to understand it very well, and what you want to do in life, you have to understand that very well. And if both of these two matches, then this is the right place for you. This year we have started a new specialization with our partner school, ESEC School of Management in Paris. So it's called MBA, Masters in Business Analytics and Consulting. It's a very unique program where students are nurtured specially nurtured to get jobs in the consulting domain. So for this program we require minimum of 2 years of work experience. preferably from a job which has some sort of a strategic exposure or consulting exposure, but even without that it is perfectly fine. But we require 2 years of work ex for that program, and the program requires some specific courses to be covered over here as well before they land up over there. So this year we have 4 students who have opted for this course, and they'll be graduating from the Lille campus of ESEC, and once they pass out, ESEC is having some corporate partners where they will be observed as interns. So once they pass out and they complete their internships, hopefully they will be market ready for taking up jobs in the consulting domain. But one caveat is there which is very, very crucial. ESEC is known for lot of jobs, generating lot of jobs in the consulting and strategy domain. But the only point is language again is very, very crucial. So in fact, last year I was there in the career fair in the month of May in Paris at ESEC campus, which is at La Défense, and we saw companies like PwC and so on, even McKinsey, where they were very clear. They had benches like this where they were interviewing, and there was a placard there which says only French speaking candidates can come to our stall. It's of that level. So it's very important that they speak French very well. So we have 4 students in this batch, and they have all agreed that they will cooperate with us, and they will learn the language as far as possible. My personal experience is, if any student is really sincere and they start learning the language right when they join the program over here, and eventually when they land up over there, 6 months plus internship another 6 months, and so total of 1.5 years, if they want really, then they can start speaking French fluently. It is a difficult language, but it's not impossible. So we have past experiences where students have started speaking French fluently after 1.5 years. So it's possible. So we are quite proud to launch this program, and we hope that we'll get more applications in the next year.